welcome to SEMA 2023. Let's go. The first obvious thing I have to start with are these Werewolf Portals because they're on my truck and that's brand new. A lot of people don't know about Portals because they just came onto the market for Toyota Tacomas. It's essentially a gearbox that goes on the hub of your truck. It gives you 5 1/8 inch of lift and a 35% gear reduction at the hub, so none of your drivetrain is gonna feel the pressure of running 40-inch tires. Werewolf Portals also come with a rear disc conversion kit, and look at the ground clearance on this. This is not a drop bracket kit where you're actually reducing your ground clearance in order to just get up higher in the air. That's dumb. We will never do it. Portals actually lift everything up higher, and with the added benefits of getting rear disc conversions, you get a little bit wider stance, a lot of bit wider stance, and 35% gear reduction. This is the coolest mod on the market by far. We carry Werewolf Portals right now. We have them in stock. Hit us up. All right, we did it. We found the most functional truck at SEMA. Stay tuned. We're taking this thing on Carnage Canyon. Look at the flex. It has over 2 inches of wheel travel. Here it is. This is the best in show, the FJ Bruiser by Toyota Motorsports Garage and Marty Schwerter. His team absolutely knocked it out of the park on this FJ45. It's got Curry axles. It has hydro steering. It even has a 725 horsepower NASCAR Cup TRD motor in there. Solid axle obviously on the front. Everything is Fox shocks. It's on 42-inch BFGs with 20-inch double standard wheels from Method. A lot of people are going to 20s on 40s or 20s on 42s if you're in the crawler scene because you get less chance of popping a bead on those beadlocks. The only stipulation Toyota Motorsports Garage was given for Marty Schwerter and his team was that the body had to remain the same, so the cab couldn't change. That means they couldn't chop the cab whatsoever, which clearly gave them a challenge to do a build of this magnitude. But here's the coolest thing on this whole truck. Underneath there is a Camso track. It's something like you'd see on a snowmobile. And right underneath that skid, between the two skids on the bottom, it's literally a remote controlled track system. So if you get high centered, you can engage your track and roll right off of whatever you're high centered on. It would have to be something pretty aggressive to actually be high centered in this rig. But that's the coolest thing here. This is my favorite build here. Best in show. I might be a little bit biased, but it's best in show for me. All right, I'm gonna put this one in the category of my favorite daily driver Toyota because this is what I wanted them to do with the 4th Gen Tacoma. They took the 3.4 liter twin turbo that you find in the new Tundras, the 3rd Gen Tundras, and they put it in this Tacoma. In order to do that, they had to widen the track width a little bit. They put 2.5 Bilsteins and everything, and they put that twin turbo 3.4 liter that's pushing over 420 horsepower, almost 500 foot-pounds of torque, and they made 1.6 street truck. Look at this thing. Easily one of my favorite things for the Toyota market here at SEMA is forced induction because we're not being left out of the mix anymore, particularly from my favorite forced induction option for Tacomas, Procharger, centrifugal supercharger. It's basically the belt driving what looks like the cold side of a turbo. You get a lot of benefits with this because it's safer. It's 40% more horsepower on a Tacoma, and the power band kicks in a little bit later. We get a lot of torque in the low side from changing your gearing in the beginning stages of what would be a supercharger's power band. But with a Procharger, it's a little bit different. The boost kicks in later, and I like that because I don't want my tires breaking loose in snow. I don't want them breaking loose early when I'm off-roading. I want more control. And then that top end is where things are lacking most of the time. So this is my preference on a Tacoma. There's a lot of other forced induction options here that also aren't leaving Toyotas out of the mix. So we're gonna take a look right now at Magnuson's option for the 3rd Gen 4Runner that they just dropped, as well as the 2nd Gen Tundra. Let's go see. Another company that's not ignoring Toyotas is Magnuson. In fact, they've never been ignoring Toyotas because they were the first company that was doing forced induction on our trucks. They have some really cool stuff. We're here with Kevin from Magnuson. This might confuse you at first because this is the 3rd Gen Tundra and they're twin turbo trucks. And Magnuson has some really cool stuff going on here. Why don't you tell us about it a little bit, Kevin?
So we got an upgrade package that we're working on right now. So here, we're upgrading your air boxes, okay? You can see on either side, it's got a nice cool little window, of course, but it's a performance air box with a K&N type S&B style filter in there, so it's rewashable, reusable for the lifetime, right? We're keeping your lower carbon traps in there, right? Because you got to keep carb out there, which is 50 state legality, right? We're upgrading all your low temp radiator stuff, hoses and air boxes. Up on top, you got an air charger up there. That puppy's brand new. You can see it's probably easily two and a half times bigger than what factory is. So that in itself is going to create a lot more efficiency, a lot more cooling. Out front here, we put one large low temp radiator out front here that you can see when you guys start poking around. The factory gives you two little babies out here, so we ditched those, right, for the large one out front. So all the cooling, the air box, trying to get that air in there, right? Heat is your enemy, right? And then second gen
Tundras, now we have a Magnuson option for the 5.7.
We do. We have a new Magnuson option. We've had the traditional 1900 kit that we've had out all these years with the original TRD program. We took our 1900 kit, we revamped a whole new kit to a 2650.
Beautiful.
All right, so it's not going to make more power out of the box. However, it's going to be a lot more efficient. But if you're building that power for the long goal of what your desired horsepower is, you got plenty in the tank that you could build up to 1,500 horse.
Awesome.
So whatever you want to throw at it.
The last thing I want to talk to you about, Kevin,
yes, sir,
is the option for third gen 4Runners. We work on a lot of them, and now you have some forced induction options for that too.
We got some good news for the old 3.4 Toyota enthusiasts out there. We revamped a whole brand new 3.4 kit. We went from the old MP62 kit through the original TRD program, and we now have a TVS Series, which is the new generation rotor pack that's internal, and it's a 1320, and it's a great piece. It really is. It's completely new. Everything's in it. Does not come with any tuning. It's just like the old kit. You bolt it on, you drive a few miles, the computer relearns itself, you're good to go.
It's $4,000 too, and guess what? That's going on my UFO runner immediately.
$39.95. Thanks for your time, guys. Kevin. We appreciate it.
We're here at the Eaton booth, and if you don't know this guy to my left, you should, and also I'd be shocked. This is Josh Oates, aka TheDarkYota, and he's got something really exciting, the very first one. Josh, why don't you tell us about this supercharger you have on your truck?
Yeah, so this is the new Harrop Supercharger for the 3rd Gen Tacoma. They also have options coming out for the 5th Gen 4Runner. They use Eaton's TVS technology for their twin screw, basically for all their forced induction things. So the kit is tuned and developed by Harrop, Eaton, but also with D3 Performance in League, Texas. The nice thing about this kit is it's directly bolt in. It uses your OEM intake box. It comes with a tuner, so you don't have to email back and forth to get a tune file. It's just, here it is, here's your tuner, plug it in, you're done.
And you can adjust that on the fly too?
Yeah, you can have them adjust whatever you need to do, like for 35s, 529s, 488s, right, whatever you need.
And how many horsepower are you pushing out of this now? You did a before and after on a dyno?
Yep, so we dynoed it. Baseline was 198 to the rear wheels on a 35-inch tire, beadlock with the 529s. After install with the stage 1, we're about 275, 278 horse to the rear wheels. So we ended up gaining about 39%.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Now this is stage 1. Stage 2 is going to incorporate smaller pulley and an open intake box. And at 6,000 feet elevation, we'll go from about 5 pounds of boost to about 7 or 8, and right around 300 to the wheels.
Awesome, man. I love it. Eaton is a huge name, so you can trust their parts for sure. If you've ever had us install a locker, you've probably got an Eaton e-locker in your truck. Killer stuff. We're gonna look at Josh's whole truck because it's awesome. True's done a great job with this thing all around. You've got Dirt King plus 3.5 kit on here now.
Yep.
ADV fiberglass, which is the same kit on my truck too. We have to show you one of my favorite accessories that I've seen because my engine compartment is filthy, and if you aren't trying to do custom fender liners, there's now an option. Can you tell us about these Fend-X liners?
Yeah, so these, again, local Colorado company, Golden, Colorado. The company is Gear Tech Customs. It's called Fend-X. But what it basically is a custom fender liner. Now it works for trim fenders, OEM fenders, but also fiberglass, which is really nice because before this, guys with fiberglass didn't really have an option, and if you are running fiberglass, you're probably not running a snorkel. So you really have a high risk at the open intake. Some guys cap it off, but that's not the best idea because then you're limiting air into your truck, right? So these guys made these liners just specifically for fiberglass, really, but the liner inside here sits up about here. So like for me, I'm gonna have to trim the ADV fiberglass up to about here so I can stuff the 37s all the way up, but the liners will stay in there the same way.
Sweet. Now speaking of accessories, FXH Wheels.
Yes.
Brand new wheels on here too.
Yeah, so these are brand new. These are debuting here at SEMA on the truck. It's a Forge Line Harrop partnership. So it's a race beadlock. It's 30.8 pounds with the beadlock ring, with the hardware.
That's insane. That's like 25% less than you'd expect on a beadlock of that size.
But the load rating is 4,000 pounds per. Instead of most beadlocks are about 27 to 3,200 pounds. Yeah.
I don't even know how they did that.
Yeah, it's all forged, and then they put the valve stem in the middle, so it's protected against rocks, elements. You don't have to worry about shearing the valve stem.
That's awesome, man. I gotta hit it too. Lucid Wraps knocked it out of the park. It's really hard to see this online. When I came and saw this truck in person the first time, I said, oh my gosh, it's actually green.
Yeah.
It looks like a black on black or a really dark gray. When you see it in person, it pops like crazy. And I have to mention too, because I've been pushing for this everywhere, machined wheels and a bare Sherpa rack. Looks completely nuts. Josh, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You. All right, here with Kevin and his awesome second gen solid axle swap Tacoma. And why don't you run through some of these key features, man? This thing's awesome.
All right, so this is a 2010 Toyota Tacoma. I did a facelift to a 12 to 15 on it. Underneath the hood, we have a Magnuson Supercharger, pulley tuned, solid axle swapped with a Curry 9-inch, 543 gears, 40-spine internal axle shafts, sitting on 40-inch 1350 tires, 12-inch coilovers. Inside, we have a Atlas 4-speed transfer case in it, fully kitted out with steel underbelly, everything's steel on it from front bumper, side, back. We have a GFC camper on the back, fully kitted out with all the necessities for going out. When you're on the trail, you'll be able to do anything you need to.
Heck yeah, man. This front end here, it's kind of a mix between trail gear and all-pro stuff.
Yes, sir. So we have all-pro towers, we have the trail gear, power steering box, and then we have some custom like bump stops made for it.
And it's a hydro assist PSC setup on the front end there to help turn these 40s. In the rear, you got a 3-link kit?
Yes, sir. Custom
Where'd that come
3-link.
from?
So that's a custom link or custom 3-link kit made from Southern Off-Road Specialists, Soars in Georgia.
Awesome.
We came together and made it so it doesn't come through the bed. You can retain the bed and not get any dirt, debris inside of it. It has airbags on the back, Daystars, 14-inch coilovers, and a custom rear sway bar for it.
Right on, man.
Yes,
they
sir.
did a killer job, man. That 3-link look,
Yes,
it looks
sir.
dialed, man. Thank you so much for showing us your truck, man. We're gonna have to get you out to Colorado.
Absolutely.
And do some
We need a
wheeling
wheel.
together. Heck yeah, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Good to meet you,
Good
man.
to meet
Beautiful
you.
truck. We're at the AMSOIL booth, and this is the 91 Toyota pickup that has a 2JZ swap on it, pushing 1,300 horsepower. This is owned by Scott Birdsall. It's probably the fastest Toyota truck that you'll see. It's easily the fastest Toyota truck that you're gonna see here at SEMA. It's got just about everything. 1,300 horsepower, methanol burning, 3-liter 2JZ GTE with a Brian Crower billet crank, Pro Series rods, stage 3 plus cams and springs, and adjustable cam gears with a CP Carrillo forged HD piston kit. Inside it's got the Halltech IC7 dash, all sorts of wiring, harness work. It's done perfectly. It's super clean, and this is the way to do it if you want to go fast. All right, we're here at Baja Designs in S-Pod with the CEO, Trent Kirby. They have a really cool redesign on all the SAE stuff and one new product that's awesome, as well as an exchange program. Can you tell us about it, please, Trent?
Yeah, so starting with the S2 SAE, this is a new product for us that's going to be a retrofit to existing 2-lamp fog pockets, and then also complementary for lower front bumpers on vehicles that didn't come with factory fogs. Then the new SAE Squadron was revamped from all new circuit boards to optics, and then we also have a buy-in program on that. So if you have the first generation version, what you can do is send it back to us. We'll swap the circuit board, reflectors, and lenses free of charge, expedite it back to you. And so you can see the immediate improvement in performance just in distance, width, and then color as well. And then rolling into our brand new LP6 DOT as a factory replacement lamp for JKs, JLs, retro classic type vehicles, but also the Harley Davidson market. So awesome. A lot of new offerings from Baja Designs on the street legal side.
Yeah, that has a high beam, low beam, and a backlight built in. We could probably put it in what, an FJ 45 or something
yeah.
cool like that would
Absolutely.
work. Baja Designs is the best on the market. That's why every truck that leaves our shop at least leaves with these quadrants. And they're sticking to their reputation. They're doing this trade out program for free. So you can get the new look and better performance free of charge to the customer because you guys care so much about them, and that's why you're at the top.
Yeah,
We
and that's
appreciate it.
where we said we know our customers hold us to high standards. We do as well. We appreciate that, and this is what we were striving for the first time. We fell short of our goals, and so we wanted to make sure that everyone who invested in us got the latest and greatest with this version as well.
That's awesome, man. Trent, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Easily one of my favorite new things here at SEMA 23 is the Camburg +2 slapper kit and rear coil conversion for the new Tundras. If you've seen any of our videos on my Tacoma, I have the same +2 slapper kit, which has an integrated bump stop that hits your lower control arm in the same place every time, and it's more of a smooth progression into your bump stop as well. What's really cool also about this +2 kit is that you can utilize a long travel. This is actually getting 13 to 14 inches of usable wheel travel, but you're utilizing an OEM spec shock. So there's no reason to get a long travel shock here. OEM shock and getting 13 to 14 inches of wheel travel. Come look at the rear. The rear end of this kit comes with a coilover conversion and a bump stop kit, as well as these beautiful billet trailing arms, just like the uppers up front. And this is easily the coolest thing out for these 3rd gen Tundras right now. Shout out to Camburg, you guys are crushing it.